this in your table of contents. Today's date is 11/15, and we're doing ratio. So our unit is called proportional relationships. I should did in the 6th grade. But I am going to go back a little bit and refresh your memory. Okay, so again, here are our purpose today. I'm going to introduce ratios to you guys. Please write that down. And make sure to copy the examples and as well as translate it into your own language so that you can understand it later when you open your notebook. Okay, so here is our topic right now. I'm going to skip this one. I want you to take some moment. Now, I want you to simplify the following fractions. Now, to simplify means to put it in lowest terms, right? So how can we simplify these three fractions? Well, if I can find a common factor, except one, that I can divide both top numerator and denominator, I can simplify that fraction. For in this case, I can divide the top by 4 and the bottom by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, 12 divided by 4 is 3. So 4 over 12 and 1 over 3 are equivalent. 24 and 27, in this case, the greatest common factor, I think it's 3. I can divide that by 3, and I can divide that by 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. 27 divided by 3 is 9. Now, I can't go on anymore because there are no common factors besides 1. Nothing else that will divide 8 and 9 evenly. Okay. 18. I'll do this one a little bit different. Let's say you don't know what the greatest common factor is, but you know a common factor. So let's take 2, for example. If I divide this by 2, which is possible, 18 divided by 2, I will get 9. 30 divided by 2, I will get 15. But this is not written in lowest terms, so I can go one more. A common factor between 9 and 15 is 3, so I'm going to divide by 3 and divide by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. Notice that I can't simplify this anymore because the only common factor that they share, the greatest common factor they share, is 1. So if I divide that by 1, right, it's redundant because I still get 3 over 5. So that step wasn't really necessary. So you could have stopped right here. Now, 18 over 30, if you found the greatest common factor, you could have gone straight to the simplest terms and just divide top and bottom by 6, which would have led you to 3 over 5. So you get to pick. You don't really have to do it in one step. You can do it in 2 steps, 3 steps, whatever you decide. Okay. Now, you're going to go on the whiteboards today, and in this particular question says that Lisa's 12-year-old birthday party. For every 2 boys that attended, there were 5 girls. If 84 people were present, how many were boys? So I want you to take a moment. You're going to go on the whiteboard, you're going to pair up, right? And we're going to work on this for a few, and then we'll discuss it. Okay? When you come back from the whiteboards, you're going to continue here on the video. So, ratios show how 2 or more quantities are related. That's the definition of ratio. So please write that down. Each ratio shows how 2 or more quantities are related. So let's look at this picture here for pictures. I have 2 hearts and 3 moons. So if I want to say, write the ratio of hearts to moons, right? Order being important. How many hearts do we have? We have 2 hearts. 2, how many moons? 1, 2, 3. So we can write this relationship in 3 ways. 3 ways, using a colon, using the word 2, or write it as a fraction. But writing as a fraction, I really want you guys to start writing the units. 2 hearts, 3 moons. Now, if the question now was, and then I'll put a little box over here. The question says, write the ratio of moons to hearts. Right then, because order is important in ratio, we are going to write, well, there's 3 moons to 2 hearts. or we're going to write 3 to 2, or finally 3 moons, 2 hearts. I prefer it in a fraction. That's what I always like to do. Okay, so but it's I think you'll prefer it that way. So that's what a ratio is, comparing how many of one item exists in the other item compared to the number of the other items. And that's what a ratio is. Okay. Part-to-part ratio. So think about this. What is the ratio of girls to boys? Well, girls, there's 2 girls, so we're going to write 2 girls to 1 boy. Or like we wrote it before, we can write 2 girls to 1 boy. Or as a fraction, 2 girls, 1 boy. Okay. What's the ratio of boys to girls? Well, now that's different, right? Because it says boys to girls. So boys, how many boys do we have? It's 1 boy, 2 girls. I know it's simple, right? But I think the idea here is for you guys is to stress that order is important when you're writing the ratios. So again, 1 boy, 2 girls. Another way we can write that is 1 to 2. And we can write it as a fraction, 1 boy, 2 girls. Okay, so that's a part-to-part relationship. Part of the group is made up of boys compared to the other part of the group that's made of girls, or vice versa. Okay. A part-to-total relationship. Now we're comparing part of the group to the total amount. So write that down. Write a ratio of stars to total shapes. Well, again, ratio of stars, so stars to total. Well, there are 3 stars, so we can write 3 stars to, how many total shapes do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 total. And then we can write it again as with a word 2, 3 stars to 7 total. Or as a fraction, we can write 3 stars to 7 total. Okay. Write a ratio of circles to total shapes. Well, in this case, we're talking about part of the group which is made up of circles. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 circles. 4 circles to 7 total. Okay, or 4 circles to 7 total. And finally, 4 circles to 7 total. Now that's a part to total relationship. Okay, so that's the idea of ratios, right? And we're obviously going to use ratios to set up proportions, right? And that will will be coming up soon. I want you to take a look at these handouts. Okay, I want you to take a look at this one. And I want you to write each of the statements as a ratio in the order in which it was written. Okay, so you'll take a moment to do these problems. Okay, and you can use your iPad for translations. That's one, and then just another one right here. Okay, and you'll get to do that, and we'll check as a class. Okay, that one we don't have to do, but we'll do the first 2 that we talked about. So that's your first video for today.